Deportiva y con swing.
Deportiva y con swing.
La factoría del deporte desde New York para ti. Es una máquina.
Es una máquina
Pensada para ti.
pensada para ti. Número uno en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Con informaciones importantes siempre frescas.
Y con entrevistas que te ponen de cabeza.
Lo mejor del deporte lo encontrarás aquí.
Búscale en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Suscríbete,
Ay sí,
infórmate.
ok. Dale a la campana para que te llegue.
Okay, we're good to go. Mike, you're on mute, just FYI.
I'm off mute, Pat.
Off mute. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in short notice. Like always, please raise your hand and I will call on you. So we'll open up for questions for Mike, and then following Mike, Mark Melancon will join us. Go ahead, Steve.
Mike, happy holidays. What was it about Melancon that you guys really liked and made him made you pursue him?
Yeah, he is. He's a proven back end bullpen guy. We talked about at the beginning of the offseason wanting to rebuild our pen. It was a major issue for us last year, and we've done some things on the edges, and we're going to continue to do some things as we move through the offseason. But this was kind of getting a guy in this spot was important for us.
Nick Picaro, go ahead.
Was it important, Mike, to kind of start with the ninth inning in your mind, or did it just kind of work out this way?
Kind of worked out that way. It wasn't the only area we were focused on here in this short window. But we're excited to have sort of attacked this part of our pen at this point. So we have a lot of work left to do. Excuse me, but we feel really good about what he brings to the table.
And then obviously you guys have had issues in a lot of different areas on the roster, but how much better do you think you would have been if you just had kind of a competent bullpen and able to protect leads last year?
I don't know. Pretty good. The 1-run losses, we talked about that ad nauseum. I mean, not all the bullpen's fault. A lot of times the offense, the defense, but there were a number of those games where we had won. I mean, we talked about the last 3 weeks of the season alone, the number of games that we had done that we couldn't finish off, and that's something we're looking to rectify. We want to win we're going to win as many games as we can next year, and every win is important to us. And going through what we just went through for 52 wins, I'm not really wanting to sign up for that again. And we're gonna look to make every area of our team better, but the bullpen is a major piece and was a major piece of what we need to get accomplished this offseason.
Eric Montilla, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, I just wanted to get your thoughts on, now that the coaching staff is finalized, how you guys did and how excited you are about this kind of all-star caliber coaching staff you guys have put together here.
Yeah, look, there's a number of issues a number of things that we wanted to attack going into this offseason. And certainly we had made some changes at the end of the year with our coaching staff, unfortunately. Through no real individual's fault. But with, again, 52 wins on the record, we felt like changes needed to be made. And, we're very excited about the group that we have. We think they bring a lot of energy, a lot of experience. There's a lot of different backgrounds that we're looking to draw from. There's new voices, fresh voices that are going to bring in new experiences, and not, in some cases, I think carrying over some of what we dealt with last year. Hopefully, we're going to erase that pretty quickly, and we'll start working new, back to where we need to get to.
Evan Thompson, go ahead.
Hi, Mike. Can we expect to see Wendelken and Ramirez as your 7th and 8th inning setup men, and then look for you guys to address more middle relief, or can we expect to see them go to middle relief as you look for more established setup men?
I can't answer that question right now. I have no idea. Those guys pitched in leverage for us last year. Part of that was a function of what we had at the time. They did a pretty good job in some of those roles. I'm sure there's going to be opportunity for them to come in and try to reassert themselves into some of those positions, but we're not going to be done adding to the bullpen. So I don't know where all that shakes out.
Go ahead, Nick Vaccaro, back to you.
Mike, I think it could be looked at as spending a lot of money on the ninth inning for a team that, maybe doesn't look on paper like it's going to be in contention. Does this just kind of go back to what you were saying? I think maybe at the GM meetings of like, you just want to move the ball forward regardless as much as you can.
Yeah, I have no interest in picking where we're picking in the draft ever again. If you want to use that as a marker, I have no interest in going through a season that we just went through again. I said this at the very early outset of the offseason. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to pour 30 to 35 wins onto our win total with some of the work that we do this offseason, but we're not going to stop from putting a better team on the field that's going to win more games and cause more problems for the division, hopefully to our great benefit in the end. I'm tired of hearing that we were, people tell us, we didn't think you guys were as bad as your record was. We need to go out there and prove those things. And we're not going to stop trying to, I've said this before too, part of when you talk about rebuilding for an extended period of time with a young roster is how do you teach the young roster how to win? You teach the young roster how to win by winning baseball games, by being in situations where the pressure is on and we come through when it matters. That is in the bullpen, that is in the lineup when there's a tie game in the bottom of the ninth inning. That happens, all season long. And I don't think you can just snap your fingers and have that happen. And I don't think you can build a really good team in one off season. And so look, the multi-year nature of this is a reflection of where we're hoping to move to, not just now. And that was our intention. But in the end, if I boil this down, we feel like we signed a really good baseball player.
Okay, Mike only has time for the questions that are in the queue. He will answer Steve Gilbert next. Go ahead.
Mike, are you guys close on anything else? You think you get something else done before tonight? Or
no, we don't have anything that's imminent in my mind.
How long did the Melancon thing kind of percolate for?
Probably about a week or so, 5 days. I mean, look, the contact was made a long time ago, so it's hard to say over the extended period of time. I think things kind of got a little bit more aggressive in the last 5 days.
Nick Vaccaro.
That's what I was going.
And then Mark Brown, go ahead.
Thanks for that, Pat. Mike, just real quick, happy holidays. And given Melancon's age in his late 30s, do you have any concern about his durability? Relievers need to go about 35, 40, 42 saves a year. Any concern about his durability?
Mark, I appreciate the subtle joke. If that was in fact a subtle joke, no, I don't have concerns about his durability. He's been one of the most durable relievers. Yes, being a relief pitcher is a challenging job description for anybody, given what's asked of them. But this guy prepares himself as good as any player we've ever been around, and is as dedicated a professional. And we'll make a bet on that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike, for joining us.
All right,
I believe
you guys.
we have Mark is waiting in the queue.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey guys.
Thank you for joining us, Mark. So if everybody could please raise their hand and identify yourself for Mark so he gets to know you. And we will start with Steve Gilbert.
Hey, Mark, Steve Gilbert with MLB.com. Congratulations on the deal. Just what was it about the Diamondbacks that made it an attractive place for you to sign?
Sure. Hey, Steve. I got to play against Diamondbacks all year last year, and starting in spring training, I got to see that there is a lot of talent. I don't think the record was indicative of, the talent level that's here. And it's sometimes hard to see that when a bad record shows up, but playing against them as many games as we did, and I could see through that pretty easily.
Nick Picoro, go ahead.
Hey, Mark, Nick Picoro with the Arizona Republic. I was going to ask something similar, just that I could see it being hard to maybe attract a veteran, established player of your stature, but you just see them as being a far better team than a 52-win team.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I said, it's tough to see it when you just look at paper, but when you're facing these guys and trying to get them out, it's a different story. So I got to see it firsthand, and very confident in this group.
And then I know there's some guys on this roster you've played with. Did you reach out to any of them to get their sense for the team?
No, I haven't. Part of this is just keeping things under wraps a little bit too. So, yeah.
Zach Buchanan.
Hi, Mark. I think your deal is one of the bigger commitments they've made financially to a free agent reliever with this group in charge. I know you've been on the open market, maybe a couple times over the last 5 years. Had they ever shown much interest in you to this level, or had they ever sniffed around you before this offseason?
She's last free agent, time through for me. Hard to remember. I'm not sure, to be honest. I can't remember back then, all the teams involved. So.
Evan Thompson.
Hi, Mark. Evan Thompson, Last Word on Baseball. I'm one of the few guys in this press corps who went to the University of Arizona. So welcome,
Yes.
fellow Wildcat. Is with you having pitched at the U of A, is there any added incentive or bonus or anything like that to coming to the Diamondbacks?
Absolutely. Having some familiarity with Arizona and the ties to U of A is awesome. I still keep in touch with a lot of people down in Tucson. I love Tucson and all of Arizona. So yeah, definitely a huge, attraction for my family and I, and looking forward to it. Bear down.
Go ahead, Zach.
Mark, how was it important to you at all to get a deal done before the CBA expired? And it seems like across the game, it's just been kind of a flurry of activity because of that. Has it been different for you in free agency this time compared to last times where deals may have drug on a little longer to get done?
Yeah, obviously this year a little different, kind of having a false deadline, so to speak, but it wasn't a huge concern. It was just, I think the opportunity to sign and know where you're going was nice. But, last year I waited until a week or two before spring training. So it's not something that I, put a ton of emphasis on.
Do you have any other questions for Mark? Nick, go ahead.
It seems you've been one of the more durable and kind of reliable relievers for a long time now. What do you kind of attribute that longevity to?
Sure. From a strength program, I give a lot of credit to my trainer, and, I think working smarter and not always harder, but, risk reward type stuff makes a lot of sense, especially when you get older. So just having, good thoughts behind what you're doing is really important. But I think also getting out there and pitching on a regular basis and knowing how to pitch through some minor injury type stuff. And, I think that's important. I think I've always done that in my career, understanding what a true injury is versus, a little nick or something. So I think that's probably the main stuff.
Barry Bloom, go ahead.
Hey, Mark, congratulations. What do you credit, obviously, aside for your adjustments, the great year you had with the Padres last year and being part of that whole situation?
What was the question?
What do you credit? Who do you credit there? Was there pitching coaches? Did Rothschild work with you early on? How did you evolve and have such a great year there? And how much of it was that or yourself or just finding a groove?
Yeah, I mean, the pitching coaches from Larry to Ben Fritz, phenomenal, very helpful, from the catchers, and the team. I don't think it was a sole effort on my part. I think, it takes a team. So I extremely thankful for those guys and everybody along the way that has helped me. So, yeah, I think last year was a pretty consistent year for what I've had in my career, to be honest. I don't think it was too crazy of an outlier of a year. So,
did they make any effort at all to bring you back?
I think certain teams with this deadline, there's different stuff that they have to look at. But yeah, they did. We talked briefly, and amongst a lot of other teams. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Zach Buchanan.
Mark, are you looking forward at all to working with Brent Strom, and what was his being here a selling point at all for this organization?
Yeah, very much so. I've never heard a negative word about Strom. So after I got to talk to him, we had a lot in common, and just it seems like our thought paths are very similar. I'm really excited to get to know him a lot better and work with him. Obviously, he's got a ton of success and also just history behind him to help our guys here. So looking forward to that a lot.
Do you have anything else for Mark? If not, thank you, Mark, and thank you everybody for joining on such short notice. Appreciate everybody's time.
Thanks, Mark.
This afternoon.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
No
Thank you,
problem,
Mark.
guys. Yeah.
Aquí, en medio de la rivalidad Red Sox-Yankees, tengo que mandarle un saludo a todos los que ven la máquina deportiva. La máquina son ustedes, que tienen los motores encendidos y siguiendo béisbol, deporte, todos los días del año. Así que un beso para ustedes, soy Carolina Guillén, y un regalito para los fanáticos.